NAIT's LRT station closes for months.
Again, NAIT won't have any LRT.
Helping students eat healthy. A program at NAIT is hoping its message sticks.
Opportunity to provide healthy options to staff and students on campus. It's not always easy to find healthy options when eating out.
And farm animals take over the Edmonton Valley Zoo's newest exhibit.
We kind of lost connection to the rural setting and essentially where our food comes from.
Hello and welcome to Second Edition News. A headache for some people who use the LRT, as service to NAIT is shutting down for 4 months.
Yeah, staff and students who use the system will have to find a new ride starting at the end of April.
Next train, NAIT, on track 1.
The city announced this week that it'll be doing routine maintenance on the Capital Line. This means trains will run less frequently and service to NAIT will completely stop April 28.
At least it's happening after exams, and it's happening during the quieter time of the year. But there are still students and staff here, so it's really unfair to them. And I don't know why it is that NAIT just keeps getting the short end of the stick.
The train's last stop will be the Kingsway Royal Alex station. The city says people will have to take a bus from there to get to NAIT. The NAIT station is scheduled to reopen August 30th.
Elections Alberta has introduced new voting technology for the upcoming provincial election. Known as Vote Anywhere, the new system makes counting ballots easier and stops people from voting more than once. A tabulator is used during advance polls to speed up the electoral process. With 2.7 million Albertans already signed up to vote, officials say that the system will make voting more organised.
So with Vote Anywhere, everyone is going to be voting all over the province, right? So Electoral Division 1 might have ballots from every other electoral division. By bringing them back here, we're able to do the results for each of those electoral divisions. The tabulators also allow us to quickly sort out a box.
Alberta's provincial election will be held on April 16th, with advance polls being held between the 9th to 13th.
NAIT is conducting student surveys this month to see how on-campus services can improve. Whether it's lunch hour activities to get a mental break or hearing feedback on the UPass, the survey gives students a chance to give their opinion on how services can be better. A big part of this input is focused on stress-busting events.
There's one question that's very obvious in a way, where what's your level of stress? And we have seen a pattern of it's been gradually getting high every year. So we've been adding more stress, mental health related events because of that.
Students who complete the survey have the chance to win some prizes, including a new laptop and pair of headphones. Crave Food is a little-known program to help students make healthy food choices on campus.
Yeah, a registered dietitian works with Eat at NAIT to select recipes that meet the Crave program's nutrition guidelines.
Nick Creelman, NAIT's registered dietitian, works hard to provide students with healthy options on campus. As part of NAIT's Crave Food program, he makes sure students have food options that are low in sodium and fat and high in fiber and protein.
All recipes are actually analyzed specifically for specific nutritional content.
Creelman says they try and create Crave options that meet Canada's new food guidelines. However, he finds students resist the whole grain choice and prefer to pick white rice or pasta.
I always find that balance kind of, so that the customer's always happy and enjoying the meal to the fullest, but it's also providing some of the best nutritional value can get out of that as well too.
The Crave options are located at cafeterias around campus, featuring staple recipes like butter chicken and fish tacos. Creelman says the next step to getting healthy food in students' bellies is educating students on the Crave logo, as many don't seem to know what the sticker means. This sticker means at all? No. Sticker before? No, never seen this sticker before? No. The main goal of the Crave Food program is to help students eat healthier. Many of the recipes made on campus are available online, and Eat at NAIT hopes to add even more of these recipes to help students cooking for themselves at home. Erin Pinkson, Second Edition News.
Edmontonians are getting their first look at the newest feature at the Edmonton Valley Zoo. The zoo's new urban farm opened to the public on Saturday. The space emulates a working farm. The zoo hopes to give urban visitors an agricultural experience they may not otherwise get to see.
It's an opportunity for us to show off where your food comes from how your food is cared for in this province, the importance of buying local, and how that is such a sustainable approach.
The exhibit is home to many traditional farm animals and will also feature speckled park cattle, a breed unique to Alberta. The urban farm is part of the zoo's ongoing renovations. In June, they'll open up their new Red Panda exhibit.
Hundreds of staff and students at NAIT are celebrating the school's diverse community. The Mosaic Festival gives students the opportunity to participate in cultural activities from more than 20 countries. Participants say it's all about bringing people together.
It's kind of like a small international village for like multi-cultures to interchange and to share their ideas, traditions, and cultures. It's also a very good opportunity to meet new friends from different cultures.
Students were able to taste traditional foods, watch international films, and cultural performances. They also had the chance to learn how to salsa dance and to tie a turban.
Boyle Street has been celebrating the start of spring with the annual Glow Festival. The festival hosts a light parade where local residents make and show off special themed lanterns. This year's theme is space, and those in attendance spent Saturday afternoon making stars, rockets, and aliens for the event.
What we try to do with Quarters Arts is really socially engage the community in order to do something together, create stuff that they can share, the moments like this beautiful lantern night parade.
Quarters Arts and Boyle Street community set up the Glow Festival and the parade every year to promote the local area. It has been running for 4 years and is a chance for families to come together and enjoy a day of activities.
Paul Haleva is here to get us caught up on this week's sports stories.
So Paul, what's new this week?
It was a busy hockey week as the ACAC's men's championship took place. Also, the Oil Kings started their playoff series against Medicine Hat. I have that and much more in sports. The Battle of 109th Street never disappoints as the NAIT Ooks took on the MacEwan Griffins. On the line, the ACAC's men's championship.
God keep our land.
NAIT comes into the arena to tie the series up, and MacEwan attempts to win the series and claim their three-peat in front of the home crowd. Jumping into the second period, where NAIT gets the first goal of the game as Matt McNeil scores off the rebound and opens the scoring. We're still in the second as Carson Beers shows off his patience and buries it home for a 3-0 lead. NAIT now up 4-0 late in the second when MacEwan makes it interesting and scores 2 quick goals to cut the lead down to 2. We are in for a great third period. In the third, MacEwan has control on the blue line, puts it on net, and Ryan Baskerville gets a deflection in front of the net to make it a 1-goal game. MacEwan now pressuring NAIT, and Nicholas Carell finds the loose puck and ties the game up. NAIT was leading by 4 goals halfway in the second period, and now the score is 4-4. We need a double overtime to settle this game, where Nicholas Carell drop passes it to Ryan Baskerville and goes short side, beating Brendan Jensen and wins the series for MacEwan. The last team to three-peat was SAIT, where they won 4 straight championships between 2007 to 2010. Ryan Baskerville had few words to say about his championship-winning goal.
Honestly, I blacked out. When I just tried to get it on net and I saw it snuck, I think under his blocker, but man, what a feeling. Finish my career at MacEwan, it's still speechless.
The WHL playoffs is underway, and Central Division champions Edmonton Oil Kings attempt to tie the series against Medicine Hat Sunday night. The Oil Kings look to avoid going down 2-0 in the series heading to Medicine Hat, so this is a big game for the Oil Kings. Let's jump in early first period. 2-on-1 for Edmonton as Josh Williams passes it to Liam Keeler and squeaks the puck 5-hole for a 1-0 lead. Then, halfway in the first, Medicine Hat Linus Nielsen takes a shot from the blue line and gets tipped by an Oil Kings player, tying it up. Not too long after that, Linus wants more. He gets open and scores his second of the night. Let's fast forward now to the third. The Tigers are up 3-2. Carter Souch on the Oil Kings goes where Mama hides the cookies. Top shelf! and ties the game up at 3. Now close to the end of the third, the Oil Kings go on a break, and Trey Fix-Wolanski draw passes it to Quinn Benjafield for the game winner. And after the final horn, some pushing and shoving occurs near the Oil Kings' end, showing that this series is far from over. Edmonton outshot Medicine Hat in both games, but they were decided by 1 goal. Oil Kings head coach Brad Lauer goes on to say that this was expected.
This year, playing against them is that, they're going to be tight games. I think we had 2 go to overtime and 3 or 4 were 1-goal games, and we knew this was going to be a long series.
The series is now tied 2-2, and Game 5 is Friday at Rogers Place. Heading off the ice now, NAIT held its first esports tournament over the weekend.
I thank you, the community, and everybody else that brought your own personal setups, TVs, monitor stations, whatever it is.
The weekend tournament brought NAIT students to the HP Center to showcase their gaming skills. The games featured in this tournament were Counter-Strike Global Offensive, League of Legends, and Super Smash Bros. Curtis Dell, Student Recreation Coordinator here at NAIT, is trying to bring an esports culture here on campus.
As a polytechnic and one of the world's leading polytechnics, this is something that is a draw for our students and something that they can relate to and connect with.
NAIT will continue to have esports events on campus in the future. There are great Canadian talents in the NBA. Andrew Wiggins plays for the Timberwolves and Tristan Thompson is on the Cavaliers. But now a new crop of Canadian talent are showcased in this year's NCAA March Madness. One of the biggest names on that list is RJ Barrett from Duke University, who is a force on the court and is making an argument to be the first pick in the upcoming NBA draft. Another big player on that list is Michigan forward Iggy Brosdakis, who is dangerous beyond the three-point line, shooting 41.5%. And lastly, Gonzaga forward Brandon Clark, who is a defensive presence on the courts. He averages 3.1 blocks per game and is a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. Continuing on the topic of basketball in Canada, the Canadian Elite Basketball League had its inaugural draft last Wednesday. The Stingers hosted a draft party at the Polar Park Brewery. At the event, fans and supporters caught a glimpse of what to expect in May. The Stingers' first selection in the draft is U of A alumni Mamadou Gaya. He last played in Sudbury, averaging 13.4 points per game and 6.3 rebounds per game. He wasn't the only U of A player drafted by the Stingers. To finish off the regional picks, they picked Jordan Baker, who built a name for himself here in Edmonton. Baker is the program's all-time leading scorer and all-time record holder in rebounds, assists, and steals. And to wrap up the U of A selections, the Stingers picked up Brody Clark in the U Sports round. He was on the Canada West First Team All-Stars. Andreas Morris, Director of Business Operations for the Stingers, says that there's a strong basketball culture here in Edmonton.
Basketball is a sport that's growing exponentially across the country, and I think there's huge support for the sport here in Edmonton.
That was your week in sports. Tune in next week for some great local sports coverage.
Wow, I'm surprised by the amount of Canadian basketball talent.
Yes, James, with the popularity of Toronto Raptors here in Canada, kids are rather wanting to tie up their basketball shoes over their skates.
And the Edmonton Stingers, it sounds like they had a great draft.
They did so, Jason. And I managed to watch Mamadou and Baker when they played here at U of A, and they were amazing athletes. Glad to see them back here in Edmonton.
For sure. This has been your look at Second Edition News for this week.
Have a good weekend.
Hello and welcome to Cooking with Ernest. I'm your host Eden Joseph and I'm joined today by Chef Reagan. So guacamole is one of my favorite late night dips, but as a chef, can you show us your take on it?
I sure can. I have a more classical take on guacamole than the average person, but it's still just as good.
Is there an easier way to take out the pit?
There sure is. You just take a knife and with the blade you just whack the seed and pop it out. Just like magic, it comes on out.
So I know guacamole is a very versatile dip, but do you recommend using it for any other cooking things?
I like to use guacamole as a salad dressing on burgers. You can eat it just with chips, or if you're feeling crazy, with eggs. It's very versatile. You can do whatever you want with it.
So I see you have cilantro there. I know some people love cilantro, some people hate it. Why is that?
It's actually genetic, whether or not you like cilantro. It's based off of your parents. Some people taste nice herb, and some people just taste salt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then I see you have salt and pepper there. Are you using anything else to season it, or is there a way to make it spicy that you would use like jalapeno or something like that?
I am just going to use salt and pepper today, but if you want to spice up your dish, you can add cayenne pepper, jalapeno. If you like things really spicy, maybe some ghost pepper. It's really up to you what you want to do to spice up your guacamole. I like to keep my guacamole a little chunkier, but you can put it in a blender before you mix it in with all the other ingredients, and that'll make it nice and creamy and smooth, but I prefer mine to be a little more chunky to add some texture.
I see you have a lime there, so what does acid do in the guacamole?
Acid helps keep the avocado from browning, and it just adds a really nice flavor and acidity to the dish.
Well, I can't wait to try this recipe at home. For recipes like this and more, go to www.naitnewswatch.ca and click on our second edition tab. I'm your host, Eden Joseph, and give it up for Chef Reagan. Thanks for watching.